My name is Ka-miller Reid and I am a filmmaker, director, writer and producer. What initially attracted me to filmmaking was my mum studying television and production in uni. She was doing that while I was in primary school, and I had gone to a few of her lessons and I saw what they were doing and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And since then I've always had an interest. Started off with documentaries and then branched off into dramas. In terms of my journey into the industry, I started off as a young person going to a film club, and before then I had done a few things myself, doing some really silly stop motion with like Starburst sweets and stuff like that on my toys. And then I went to Mouth Raws and since I stayed there basically, making films with young people, and then I started working there. I was also doing a few things at Hoxton Hall, and then I started facilitating for the BFI Film Academy, and then started doing odd jobs. I started working as a freelancer, so that's just how it all began. How we first got involved with Euras is myself and Nimra were writing a short story, a short comedy, and we found funding and we're like, oh my gosh, let's try and get this. And it was one of our first funding applications ever. So we tried to do that, and then we had to contact Saru, the founder of Euras, and we needed a producer on board, and luckily she was really happy to have us, and so we put her name down, but sadly we didn't get that funding, but that's how the journey started, and may it continue. So our project is called London Baby, and it is a story about a young woman on her commute to work in the city. And I was really passionate about this story because all my life I've been on London transport and seen many things, and I always thought it would be nice to kind of pay homage in some sense to London, even in its madness. And I thought it would be an amazing story to tell. Yeah. In terms of the industry, some of my biggest challenges, I guess are more personal challenges at the moment. In terms of being confident, in terms of knowing yourself, in terms of just correcting yourself, going, yeah, I have achieved that, and letting other people know what you've achieved too. In terms of networking, it's quite hard, but in terms of like getting jobs and stuff like that, sometimes it can be quite hard because it's very competitive, but I haven't experienced much of that because as a freelancer I've been pretty lucky in terms of the jobs that I've gotten. So yeah. So in terms of some of the factors and trends that affect my role in the industry, I guess would come to the type of characters that are being written and the characters that we are seeing on screen or have been seeing for a long time on screen. And trying to bring that diversity to the screen is a challenge at the moment, but in some sense it's happening gradually, but in another sense, not fast enough. And I think that is one of the challenges in terms of me being in the film industry. There's not a lot of diversity in front of the camera and behind the camera, and that needs to be changed. Yeah, that needs to be changed. To aspiring filmmakers, I would say go out there and make your stuff. Just start off with your phone. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Have fun doing it. Make the stories that you know of that are around you, and I think that's always the best place to start. Go out and find as many opportunities as you can. I know also it is quite hard if you are working to find opportunities and then get paid for opportunities, but there are places out there that want to help. So just keep searching, keep doing, and network. So my top 3 tips to an aspiring filmmaker would be, so one would be go out there, make things. Doesn't matter how big or small your equipment is, go out there, make things. 2, do your research. Look into all the different types of jobs, the type of stuff that you think would be created towards what you're good at. There are a lot of film jobs out there, and a lot of people don't know of some of the film jobs. But there's loads out there, and I think there's something for everyone when it comes to film. And number 3 would be network. Basically, contact people, get to know what they're doing, find out how they're doing things, and I think you'll find your answers from them. In terms of getting into the industry, I think there's many ways. I've talked to lots of filmmakers and all of them have had many different ways of getting in. One of the main things is networking, knowing people. When you know people and people have worked with you, usually if they like you, they will ask you to join them again. And I think that's one of the many important ways of getting into the industry. And I think that's a rhetoric I've heard from pretty much every filmmaker I have talked to and asked about it. Quite a few have gone through the uni route. So they've studied film or some type of film in uni, and then they've gotten work from a friend, and then they've built up their portfolio and then gotten different opportunities through networking. And that's pretty much how it goes, I think. In terms of who I would like to work with who's in the industry, there are quite a few films that have inspired me. But I would say recently, Celine Sciamma, who is the director of Girlhood, has sold me, and I think she would be absolutely amazing to work with. Her collection of films have been really diverse in terms of subjects and just the way she brings these actors out is just amazing. And Girlhood was just, to be honest, it's definitely one of my favourite films. And I think she would be just brilliant to work with.